If you suffer from either anxiety and or depression and you want to find out some holistic ways to quickly manage symptoms and to overcome it permanently, keep watching. So briefly first a bit about my story. As a teenager, I grew up with my mother who had OCD, and then she got the big C and she was ill for 3 years, and it was such a distressing time. It was complex trauma for me. And I couldn't manage her getting better, but I could start to adopt the behaviour I'd learned from her, the OCD habits, washing my hand, putting things in a neat order. So she passed away and returned to the universe, and the OCD was fully locked into my brain then. It was like a coping mechanism. It was my ego doing something to keep me safe. So OCD is a form of anxiety. And if we think about anxiety and depression, they may seem like opposite things, but they're actually very related. So anxiety is a fear of something bad happening in the future. It could be immediate future or further ahead. Depression is when we have a lot of unprocessed sadness or trauma or upset or fear or whatever it is from the past, and it's weighing us down. And both of those, anxiety and depression, we're either in our mind in the future or the past rather than in the present. And both of them relate to unprocessed trauma and pain from the past, because you might find that anxiety is the same. So, the OCD I have to this day, and I'm working on letting that go. But it goes back to that time from my teenage years when I was going through a lot of trauma. So the other day, I walked past a church and there was a blackboard sign outside it. And it said, "Don't be anxious about anything." And I thought, well, that's a nice sentiment, but realistically, it doesn't work that way. We live in a really fast paced, multitasking society where so much is expected of us. We got screens all the time. We got people do long hours with their jobs. There's so many things happening around the world that are stressful. There's wars and climate change and recessions and all sorts of things going on. So it'd be nice just to not worry, but that's not realistic. And if we think about in nature, humans are animals, right? We are a part of nature. All other animals in nature, when they are feeling scared or anxious, they will either flight or fight, right? They will run away or they will be coursing with adrenaline so that they can fight and protect themselves. So as humans, we have this same inbuilt reaction. If something happens and we suddenly feel anxious, our heart rate is going to go up, our palms might get sweaty. This is like when we were on the savannah like tens of thousands of years ago, so we could run up a tree to be safe, and we still have that in our body to this day. But with modern society, we don't act like animals where they will run when they're feeling anxious to run off the fear, to run off the adrenaline. So if you think about like a hamster in a cage and you see them run, sometimes they will be running because they feel scared. So that's what an animal will do. It will run to shake and remove that excess energy from the body. And as humans, if we're not doing that, we might be staying still on the spot or sat down, and we might be feeling very anxious, but we are not moving. So that energy is still in the body and it's trapped, and it's very stressful, and the body's just not releasing it. So some really quick ways that we can start to release anxiety from the body when it comes up. The first one is with breathing, where your out breath is longer than the in breath. So perhaps breathe in to the count of 7 and out to the count of 11. Make sure that out breath is longer, because this tells the body we can start to relax. When we're breathing really shallow and feeling anxious, we're taking quick, shallow breaths, and that is telling the body, I'm preparing to fight or flight. But if we start to take slower, deeper out breaths, we're telling the body there's no danger, we can relax, we can feel safe. So if you can, try to breathe from the belly, breathe in for the count of 7, out for the count of 11. And another way to enhance this is to, on the out breath, Either count up or down from 1 to 20 or 1 to 30, or count down from 20 to 1 or even 30 to 1, depending on what feels right for you. On the out breath, you can count quickly or slowly, whatever feels right. And you can also do, say out loud, it can be quietly, the alphabet. So for instance, take a breath in and then A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, N, O, P, Q, R, S, T, U, V, W, X, Y, Z. So try and do this slowly. And what this starts with, the counting or the alphabet, it is getting your logical part of your brain to engage. Because when we're feeling anxious, we are in emotional part of the brain, the amygdala. It's emotion, right? It's the body. But to start to think logically, counting or alphabet, we are using logic, which can tell the brain, okay, we've got something logical to work out, there's no danger, and the body can start to relax. And then as soon as you're able to, start to do some movement. So if you're able to, start speed walking. You could go for a very brisk walk outside, or you can pace around your room, or you can do some punches on the spot. Just stand in one place and just punch as fast as you can. What you're doing is you're getting some of that energy and adrenaline out of the body, and this is going to instantly help calm you down. I was once working on a film shoot, and it was a very stressful environment, and I had a brief panic attack in the hotel room, but I did the punches and the slower out breaths with the counting or alphabet, and it was gone in 5 minutes, and I was able to go about my entire day and nobody knew I'd had a panic attack. Longer term, it's so important to start to trace the reason for the anxiety or the depression back to its root cause, and often it comes from childhood, and to start to do some work to explore it. So write about it, journal about it. If there's sadness, just sit with it and let the sadness come out. The feelings are there because they're waiting to be processed. And the best gift you can give yourself is to start to give yourself that time to go in so that you can process it and start to release this from your body. So if this has been helpful for you today, let me know in the comment, and give a like or a sub if you're enjoying this content, and I'll see you next time. Peace out.